All right, I'm going to show you some tips for how to run on the treadmill most effectively. Big fan of treadmill running. Haters gonna hate. It's an effective tool for many reasons what I've talked about. But there are things you can do to make your experience so much better. First thing you want to do is you got to get Zwift set up. If you don't know, Zwift is the virtual running and cycling world, and it makes the experience so much better because you're watching your avatar run through this virtual world, and it really does feel like you're running outside. It is a great companion to running. Got to get Zwift. If you get Zwift, the way I have to set up is I got just the basic computer setup here. So over here is here's my laptop running the Zwift app, basic HDMI cord that's running up to the screen, and it projects there. So I'm running Zwift off my laptop, and I just project it to the screen. Now, if you run Zwift, the most frustrating thing is most people start off by getting the foot pod. You put the foot pod on your foot, and it's supposed to track your number of steps, and it syncs through your cadence, and that tells you your speed. It's horrible. It doesn't work. It's frustrating. I wouldn't even mess with it. Instead, what you want to do is, and you can get this on the Zwift store, I think you can find it other places, you need to get this Bluetooth sensor right here. It's called, what's it called? It's called Run, R-U-N-N. I think it's on the Zwift store. When you get that, what it does is you put little white stickers on your treadmill, and every time the stickers go past the sensor, it calculates the speed. And it is 99% accurate. When you set the treadmill speed, it picks it up, it syncs it. You don't have all these funny problems with the foot pod. Don't mess with that. Get some sort of Bluetooth sensor because it's gonna sync up your treadmill to get the right speed. There's nothing more frustrating than running and your guy is like 2 miles per hour off. So with the sensor, you're good to go. Next, got to get some earphones. The reason for that is, at least me in my treadmill, it's very loud. And so having the headphones in allows me not to have the noise of the treadmill. And from there, you can put on a podcast, you can put on music, you can listen to the background noise of Zwift. Whatever it is something to kind of get out the bang, bang, bang of the treadmill, and it just makes the experience so much better. So get yourself some Bluetooth headphones. Now, a few other things to make the experience better. When you run inside, one of the hardest things is that you have, in general, higher humidity in the house, higher temperatures in the house. You can just sweat a lot more. It can be less of an enjoyable experience. So what you want to do is make the inside experience as comfortable as possible. There's a couple things you can do. Number one is I normally open a window right there. And right now it's the winter time, and so it cools down the basement that I'm running in, which is good. If you can't do that, I happen to have a zone thermostat in the basement here that I can turn on and lower the temperature. And so if I can lower the temperature, have the AC blowing, that's awesome. There's also a vent that kind of blows over the treadmill, which just happens to be a nice location of the treadmill and makes it easier. If you can't do that, that's fine. At a minimum, what you want to do is get yourself some sort of fan. So here I have a boxed fan that sits at the base of my treadmill. It blows air up at me when I'm running, and it keeps the air blowing, which helps cools you off, because when you're running on the treadmill, you sweat, but you don't get the benefit of being outside and having the motion of the wind evaporate that sweat and cool you. And so the reason you get hotter is that you are sweating, but nothing is evaporating and cooling you, which is what sweat's supposed to do. And so having air blowing around you helps that evaporation happen and cool you down. I also have a little handlebar fan here that I get off Amazon that I just run as well, and it blows air kind of directly in my face. So I think those are all the key. Oh, yeah. And then always good to have a water bottle that you put up on the treadmill stand to make the experience better. So that's really it. Look into those things. There's a ton of reasons why running on a treadmill is effective, and especially if you can make it as convenient and comfortable as possible with these tips that I have learned over, a decade of running on a treadmill. So hopefully it helps you, and best wishes chasing your running goals.